Welcome everybody. Welcome to another live stream. Thank you for being with me once again. The crypto market absolutely looking fantastic today. Got a beautiful pump today. Hopefully this doesn't come as too much of a surprise to you. For those of you who were in my stream yesterday, it really shouldn't. You know that I've had a whole handful of long positions open on several different coins at this point. First things first, as always, guys, if you could do me a favor, let me know that you can hear me clearly. Let me know you can see my charts clearly, all that sort of good stuff. This will be a fairly short live stream. I know I say that pretty much every time, but this time I do have somewhere I got to get to. So I just want to look at some of the main alts that I looked at yesterday. Probably won't do too many requests today, but Dan Rab, nice to see you here. Welcome. Hopefully everything is all good on your end. Hopefully you can hear everything and see everything good. With that being said, guys, I'm just going to hop right into it, assuming that you can hear me. I'll try and keep my eye on the chat so that I know for sure. But yeah, guys, everything looking quite well as far as how the crypto market has been performing. Like I was saying yesterday, looks and sound good. Perfect. Thank you so much. Well, guys, Bitcoin isn't quite in the clear yet. I've had this fib range pulled for basically, since I entered my long down here was that last Monday or something like that, I think on the 1st of the month. And guys, the market has been doing quite well since that. And I know down here, that was one of those times everyone started flipping bearish. It looked weak, but support usually looks weak until it doesn't. Just like resistance always looks like price is doing the best, it is looking the strongest, but that's very natural, right? The price always looks good at resistance. It always looks bad at support. It's uncomfortable taking those positions, but you can see now how people who were shorting late, FOMOing late into shorts, right into support, absolutely got wrecked. And, a lot of people are missing these moves. And I've been quite vocal for a while now. Yeah, I took that little cautionary timeout basically around that 110 to 115K. After that level broke, Bitcoin dominance hit resistance, started dropping off a cliff. And then I got very bullish on the market again. And not so much Bitcoin. Don't get me wrong, Bitcoin is doing fantastic. I've got no beef with how Bitcoin is performing, but more so the altcoins. And got a handful of those open currently. But yeah, guys, as far as Bitcoin goes, I was saying this yesterday that as far as the midterm range here, just kind of this downtrend that we've had since setting our highs, we have had this lower, confirmed lower high. And that's why I've had this range pulled for over a week now. And we've done a great job. What I do love to see, and what I was saying yesterday, is that we've tested resistance several times at this point. We just keep testing that STU'S fib or even double top territory, whatever way you want to look at it. Either way, in resistance of that range, we are currently still in potential fake out territory, right? Generally speaking, I like to break past the 115 fib for a breakout to be confirmed. And at this point, we tested up to the 115 basically perfect and seen a bit of a rejection, but I don't know if it's going to last. Like I said, we've been tapping away at resistance for such a while here, so many times, that I think it's only a matter of time till we break through. And if that happens, guys, just like yesterday, I was saying that basically if we break this smaller downtrend, well, where did that downtrend begin? Right? That's where I start to look at, okay, if the smaller range gets invalidated, that's where we start to look for the bigger range invalidation. So that's where I have this purple box up here as my STU'S fib, and my red box, basically that double top swing fail territory, just like how I have it mapped out on the smaller one. So basically, if we can push through this 115, break above, let's say 114.5K, although there may be some pullbacks and some turbulence on the way, I really do believe that Bitcoin will be on its way towards at least 120,000. Basically, my resist on the macro time frame lines up with actually a little higher, but I'm just going to call it 120,000 is where we start needing to be cautious. And that goes just a little bit above 127,000. So not saying we can't break those levels, just the fact that we ended up breaking the uptrend on this midterm, right? I was talking about this. We had our higher high. That confirms this as our higher low on the trend. We did break that. So as far as any typical STU'S fib setup goes, that's where I would be not so much like most people trying to short the breakout, right? As soon as we lose that level, trying to short the breakout, whatever. I'm more so interested in, if anything, and I'm going to have to see what the shorter time frame looks like if we get up to these levels. But after breaking major structure like that, I would expect at some point to get a bounce and retest that resistance. So that basically, like I said, starts around 120,000. Not really interested in swinging at swing short positions anyways. I would consider scalps if the right type of setup showed up. But really, I'm not bearish on this trend at this point yet. Like I said, there's a little bit of work for the bulls to do yet. I just think that the market isn't in too bad of a situation at this point. Looking at the shorter time frames, I mean, we were actually, during my stream yesterday, I think we were trading right down in here because I actually had a different fib pull. I believe it was from this low to this high. Yeah, and I was saying that basically we were trading right around that 115, so between the 1 and the 115 fib pocket. So very tight invalidation if you wanted to get into a long position there. Now, I've been in a long position for since the 1st of September from much lower. However, nice to see that support is doing support things. We are seeing structure act very naturally. I mean, even since getting that little bounce, notice that we came back, we got a little bit of a pump, came back, tested the 786 again, and off to the races from there. So just another beautiful setup there. So those of you who are in my Telegram and see so many examples of these, hopefully you were able to catch something like that. I never took that trade, but yeah, like I said, I have several other trades open at this point. I mean, even on the shorter time frame, the 5 minute here, basically using the MDX Trendmaster as Confluence, beautiful indicator, probably my favorite indicator out there. But I love seeing when these signals are trending in a direction, basically. And at this point, you can see that we're obviously setting significantly higher buy signal. So if this 5 minute trend is going to continue, I don't really want to lose this pivot point that we got right before printing our most recent buy signal. So support for me lines up at around 113,000. I would actually still draw a fib and basically leave a little bit of wiggle room. Again, just respecting that 115, just in case we get a little bit of a fake out, liquidity grab, whatever. But basically, I would like to see Bitcoin, as far as the low time frame trend, I would like to see us hold above that 112.9 thousand US dollars. As long as we're above that, things are looking good. So if we started pulling back here, for example, I would be interested in laddering in to some sort of a scalp long, if anything. We're going to have to see what happens there. But that's the kind of pullback that I would be looking for, right? I mean, I prefer to long pullbacks rather than breakouts. And I mean, I'll show you why in a little bit. But I mean, it should be quite obvious because so often, I mean, if you've ever tried trading breakouts, chances are you've got wrecked several times. Not to say they don't happen, but you need very strict rules for looking at breakouts. If you're just kind of YOLOing short into resistance as we just break slightly above resistance, for example, chances are we're going to see some sort of a correction to the downside. Just like when we break support, there's a good chance that, we end up pulling back the other way as well. So that's how breakout trading can basically get people wrecked. Ethereum, I mean, guys, all weekend, last weekend, that is, we basically traded along support anywhere from my 786 down to the 115. Basically, we were basically holding that range for the entire weekend. Yesterday, we were basically trading around here while I was streaming, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, I mean, the fact that it was looking a little weak, again, support often looks weak, but we did get another push, right? I wasn't too worried because I had already taken some profits off the table. Never updated my stop loss yet because I hadn't hit my 214 fib. But either way, basically took some off the table, paid myself on the way up. So even if I would have got stopped out, at least I would have had some profits to cushion that, as well as the loss that I would have taken would have been on a smaller position because some of it was no longer there, right? But that being said, obviously today we got that nice, beautiful pump. Like I was really hoping for, that we would eventually hit my 214 target. And today is the day. Obviously, after hitting that level, we saw a very quick correction. And guys, this is a very important part with trading. I know how a lot of people love to, and this is because I used to do it too. I understand the feeling, but a lot of people get greedy and they don't want to take profits, right? So that's where having these preset take profits is so important in the game of trading, especially when trading ranges like this. It's so important because so many people like to go back to the chart and say, well, I want to see what happens if we hit that level. So if we hit this level and you miss taking your profits and we just start trending to the downside, all of a sudden you're starting to drop down to these levels and wondering, oh, well, shit, should I close my position? Should I not? Well, the thing is, if if you have a structured trade system, a structured plan in place, that gets rid of those emotions, right? It's so important to be taking profits along the way, taking profits at profit levels. And from here, if I get stopped at break even on the rest of this Ethereum trade, so be it. But so far, not looking so bad. We are going to have to see what happens. I would love to see us take another run at all-time highs. But we will see what happens with that, because even on the 4-hour, if I pull a fib here, notice that we are currently, we have been finding support along the 4-hour 786 fib right there. So Ethereum still looking fantastic to me as far as structure goes. We could even drop down significantly, even below 4,000, and I would still consider it healthy on the midterm trend. But so far, I mean, it has not been a thing. So far, as long as we hold above 42.25, basically, I'm happy with this lower term trend, basically. Solana, you guys, I mean, I've been talking about this one for such a long time. I think since we were around 150 US dollars, I was basically targeting 250 US dollars on the, I don't want to say the low side of things, but yeah, basically as far as macro resistance goes, I mean, I've been targeting at least 250 US dollars since way down here. Reasoning for that is, again, just like what I showed on Bitcoin. If, Bitcoin took its run at all-time highs, Ethereum took its run at all-time highs, I thought it was only a matter of time until Solana was just playing a little bit of catch up. And so far, it's still just trending to the upside absolutely beautifully. We are not seeing any higher lows get broken. We're just consistently setting higher highs and higher lows for Solana. So absolutely fantastic. And I mean, it's even more so outlined here on the 5-minute, again, bringing up the MDX Algo Trendmaster and looking for which way these buy signals are trending and the sell signals. I'm not so interested in these sell signals because for the most part, they're trending to the upside. Yeah, we get the odd lower one, something like this, but the buy signals weren't agreeing with it. There was a bit of mixed signals there, if anything. In general, these have been trending to the upside all day and absolutely printing. It's fantastic to see. Basically, anytime we set a higher buy signal, our pivot point, it hasn't been getting broken, right? We set a higher buy. We never do lose that pivot. We get a higher buy. We have a new higher pivot, right? Same thing, higher buy, higher buy. And so far, we are still holding that trend. So looking absolutely fantastic. Obviously, if it ends up breaking, if we lose a higher buy signal, in this case, something around the lines of 220, actually, same thing, right? Same thing I was talking about earlier. I would like to pull a fib and use the 115, basically, a little wiggle room past that. But that's actually close to that 220, right? Actually about 219.95. So basically, I would want to see Solana on the low time frames stay above that $219.90 approximately. I'd love to stay above that to maintain a healthy trend here. Hype, you guys. Hype is one that I have been talking about for a long time now. It has been such a strong performer in this market cycle ever since, down here we got our first daily buy signal with a retest around $17. I've been spot holding Hype since about $18. Also trading it. Basically, Ethereum, Solana, and Hype have been my favorite coins of choice, basically, for leverage trading recently. They have a decent market cap, decent volume, all that sort of stuff, and just nice clean charts, you guys. And this has been in price discovery ever since breaking above $35. Basically, we just keep setting higher highs and higher lows. And even right now, I mean, today is a new day and it's a new all-time high, right? And chances are tomorrow there's a good chance we'll see another one. This is just looking fantastic. And not only that, but we're actually getting a nice little breakout here. We're breaking above this range and not just getting, a little wick above and then coming back down, testing a higher low kind of a thing. This is actually looking very nice. So I mean, at this point, this has a lot of wiggle room to the downside on the longer term trend. Basically, I'd want to hold above $42.65. If I zoom in and we want something a little more reasonable for leverage trading on a lower time frame, same thing like what I was just talking about on Solana, right? We just have this beautiful trend of higher trending buy signals on the MDX Trendmaster. And every time, see, this is the only one where we did actually lose that pivot, but the 115 saved us, right? And I actually talked about this one right about here. Just a couple of hours ago in the Telegram, you guys, I was literally mentioning that hype setup. That actually, I never had the MDX Trendmaster outlined here. I did on a different post. However, the same fib pull is at play there. This is the one here. Notice we came down, we tested the 115 basically perfectly. And I was saying $53.75, as you can see here, $53.75-ish. Although ideally stay above 53. Well, we did go down to basically perfectly 53.75, even just a couple cents higher, basically, but a beautiful thing there. So just another, and guys, there's nothing magical about that, right? That's the thing about that is, you know, so many people would have been loving to short that breakout. Again, going back to the whole looking at trading breakouts, very dangerous because a lot of people would have figured, hey, we dropped support, time to short right now. Not necessarily right now. Often you still get that retest, but the fact that we held the 115, I actually ended up in another scalp on hype. I have several hype positions open right now because it is such a strong performer. So far, so good on that. Jupiter, I did take this long back here. Same thing between that 1 and 115 fib pocket, looking at a swing fail liquidity grab. That was an altcoin request from somebody on one of these streams a couple of weeks ago. I still have a quarter of that running. I did end up getting my near 10-to-1 risk reward setup. My stop loss was just below 45 cents, I had mentioned. And back to the top of the range, it was about a 9.5 to 1 risk reward setup on something like that. So that's the thing. It's not so much that these fib setups are going to work out every time, but the risk reward on them is massive. It's not about winning every trade. It's about controlling your losses rather than FOMOing into every breakout and then, you know, changing your mind several times, even if the move is going to play out itself, right? That's the whole point. Having a systematic trade setup can go a long ways. And guys, I mean, if that is something that interests you, you like trading based on, you know, actual charts, you want to see more examples of my personal trade strategies, just my overall thoughts on the market in general, do yourselves a favor, scan the QR code, get into my Telegram group, just showing several examples of, you know, just my trade setups, my personal strategies, how I love to look at them. And guys, another thing to mention here is my partners at BloFin they currently actually just today started this new promo for all of my followers. So that's everybody in my Telegram group. For those of you who want to get in, there is a QR code here as well. But yeah, just a nice little deposit / trading volume bonus that they are giving for the next 2 weeks approximately for all of my followers. So if that is something that interests you, definitely take advantage of that. Guys, these screenshots are all from this morning. I had posted in the group. Like I said, I have several long positions open. I have been so bullish on this market, specifically the altcoins recently. Just absolutely phenomenal. This month has been fantastic. My BloFin account up over 77% in September alone. And that's just the power of, you know, trading leverage responsibly, you know, actually having a trade setup, taking profits along the way, all that sort of stuff, guys. Account absolutely blowing up lately. And yeah, like I said, all of these screenshots were actually posted in the Telegram earlier this morning. And yeah, just getting some beautiful trade setups in there, my friends. So again, if that's something that interests you, scan the QR code on the banner here for BloFin or scan the QR code I just brought up on the screen, either or. Hope to see you in there. But yeah, guys, absolutely beautiful. Just to take a look at a few more things, I do want to check a couple of meme coins as well. You guys know that Troll is one that I have been looking at quite a bit lately. I mean, I caught a I was talking about this one way down at this original Stuber down here and caught like over a 25x on that. Absolutely beautiful. And even have a leverage position from this right here. But yeah, meme coins, obviously very dangerous, a lot more volatile than typical coins. So do with that information what you will. That's just one of my meme coins of choice, basically. And my other one that I've been talking about quite a bit would be Cat with Mask. We broke my diagonal trend line. We ended up testing my 886 absolutely perfect so far. I hope to see this support hold. I have no idea if it will for sure or not, but this is, again, a meme coin, a low cap coin. So it is obviously very high risk, but I really like that chart. It was popping out at me. So I figured I'd bring that up as well. Yeah, guys, as far as hype, I do want to, let me just bring up the trend master again. So yeah, like I said, as long as we keep printing these higher sells, higher buy signals on the MDX trend master, I mean, I'm just going to keep playing this trend. If we end up pulling back and the rest of my position, because like I said, I ended up taking a scalp on this. Since we've hit my first two take profits, right? The 0.5 and the 214 fibs, I still have half my position running from here. If the rest gets stopped at break even on the scalp, so be it. I also still have that swing trade on that I still have running as well. So like I said, a couple of hype positions open. But if we end up dropping and getting the rest of this position stopped out or whatever, I will be taking a look at what support is looking like, right? I would actually end up moving this since we got our higher buy signal. This would be our most recent pivot. I also want to move my fib to my current low of the trend and just basically chase the price. If the price climbs higher, then I'll be pulling this fib with it and my range will expand. But so far, this is what we have. So if we saw a pullback, this is kind of where I would be looking to ladder into my position, into a new scalp, something like that, with invalidation just below the 115 a little bit. So that's kind of the type of setups that I'm currently looking for. But yeah, like I said, guys, altcoins are just looking so good lately. And guys, if you do appreciate these live streams, you appreciate me going over my personal trade strategies. I made like this MDX Trendmaster strategy I use. This is a Stu original. I came up with this strategy. Same with the Stuber fibs. That is a Stu original strategy. If you guys appreciate that I'm sharing these with you guys, either here on the streams, in the Telegram, whatever, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out on these live streams. And guys, just a quick heads up, I will be slowly transitioning these live streams over to a new YouTube channel. I will still be with Financial Summit, just under my own new channel, basically. I will keep you guys posted with those updates as they come. This will not affect anybody signed up to my Telegram through my BloFin link. This all remains the exact same, just basically going to be streaming on a different YouTube channel name, basically, in the near future. So again, guys, I will keep you up to date with that as it comes. Brian, I see you in the chat there. Welcome again, my friend. Good to see you again after I rudely dismissed your altcoin request yesterday. So you'll notice I already have Supra up for you. Basically, it is doing what we were discussing basically up here. I mean, depending how you look at it, if you want to buy the dip, this is a blessing. If you're worried about your holdings, you're worried about the project, then obviously seeing this type of price action is a little unsettling. However, I was laid this out a long time ago on these streams, several weeks ago, I think it was. Where would that have been? Yeah, basically middle of August, I think I was talking about the potential that we come back down to this Stuber fib down here and very close to the 786. It is absolutely possible we front run it and that it's bottomed here. Just don't be surprised if it does drop a little further. We're so close to that fib pocket. So just something to be on the lookout there. But all in all, I mean, it's great. It's just, we're just seeing structure do structure things. It's not that this is unhealthy in any way. That's just very typical for when you break a trend. We broke a very strong downtrend. It's very natural to come back and retest support of the range, which for me generally starts around the 786. So this still looks great to me. Trendmaster indicator. We do have currently lower buy signals and higher sell signals. So we do have mixed signals on the 4 hour there. Let's check if the 1 hour has anything more. More trending the same direction. It's getting a little bit choppy down here. So notice we got a higher buy signal, basically a double top sell signal. Quite often when we see things leveling out like this and it just starts chopping in a tight range like that, quite often that does reverse. So, I mean, we're going to have to start watching if we basically invalidate this resistance, which I am going to consider basically our last sell signal here. My resistance, our last pivot point would be somewhere around there, around 0.0032. Basically, if we can get back above that, I think that would be a great sign that the lower time frame trend is going to start shifting back to the upside. So all in all, still looks decent to me. I like that structure is doing what we were basically expecting structure to do. You know, it just, even though it's to the downside, it doesn't necessarily look like panic or being unhealthy or anything like that. Just want to catch up with the chat here real quick. Thank you again so much for you guys being here with me. Again, one more time, if you could do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you do appreciate these live streams, my level-headed approach on the market. I try not to, clickbait you guys into ridiculous price targets and all that kind of good stuff. I'm trying to keep it very realistic for you guys. So if you appreciate that, do me a favor, hit that like, subscribe to the channel. I see, Brian, okay, you want me to check the weekly here. I think the structure for me will basically be the same. I don't think anything really changes there. If, so as far as weekly structure, this would have been my last low followed by lower low. So my confirmed lower high is actually all the way up here. The lower time frames, obviously, looking at something where we basically topped out so far. But yeah, the weekly has some work to do if it wants to break a very obvious trend. Needs to basically break this blue line up here. Solana, I can also take a look at the weekly. Once again, I think it's going to be very similar basically to what I was already looking at, because we have the same pivot point, right? We have that our same high here, our same fib pull, everything basically the same as what I was looking at on the 4 hourly. One thing that I do love to see on the Solana weekly is that we are holding above this pink average. So typically, I mean, there's not an actual buy signal there yet. I don't know if we'll even get one, but I love to see that we're holding a very strong trend on the MDX Trendmaster on the weekly time frame. That is huge. Well, and now I'm curious about the daily. You know, another beautiful thing with the daily here is that we got that. And I mean, it happened a while ago. Obviously, our retest was around 157. But again, just showing how powerful that signal can be on the MDX Trendmaster when we get a higher trending buy signal. Just an absolutely beautiful sign that the trend was going to continue to the upside. And honestly, just how well we're holding it basically this whole time here. Just another reason why I think we're getting pushed towards that $250 US level. Trying to Habu71 trying to interpret why the market bled of the rally after the market opened today. Honestly, I don't think there was that bad of a bleed at all. I mean, yeah, we had that little bit of a pullback, but like I said, on the longer time frames, even the midterm time frames, I mean, no major structure is breaking. In my opinion, it's just that since we had such a nice pump overnight, that it makes a lot of sense that you break that structure, right? You break the highs and then you end up pulling back a little bit. That's just, you know, usually I'm looking at that more so on the 5 minute. When it happens on, you know, the 1 hour, the 4 hour daily, etc. That can feel a lot more painful and it can scare a lot of people. But if you actually zoom out, there has been no bad structure breaks or anything like that. As far as I'm concerned, that little pullback we had on multiple assets was really just a shakeout, pullback, people taking profits, however you want to look at it. All in all, I think the market is still looking fantastic. Again, unless you're looking to, if you're longing into breakouts, yeah, you know, those pullbacks are devastating. But if you're waiting for those pullbacks, they can be beautiful entries. And that's exactly why, like I said, with hype just a couple of hours ago, why I was talking about that exact thing, right? If we pull back a little further, hype may find support at this level, basically that range. And it absolutely did. So those pullbacks are very natural. Obviously, that's a smaller one, but it is what it is. Very natural for price to break resistance and pull back, or break support and then bounce. That's very typical price action. So yeah, just when it gets real volatile, I can get why that would spook you. But all in all, I don't think that retracement was anything to be too concerned about at this point. Like I said, Bitcoin does have a little bit of work to do because we haven't cleared that 115 yet on the smaller trend here. But I really do have a feeling that, for one, I think we will. I wouldn't be longing right now unless looking at more of a scalp setup. But, I wouldn't typically like to long right into resistance, right? The longs I like waiting for those pullbacks. But all in all, I still think that Bitcoin is on its way to at least 120,000. I guess we will have to see. If not, and we just drop, well, the remaining quarter of my position gets stopped out, so be it. And yeah, like you said, also just sell stops. Stop losses, people trying to play the breakout and setting their stop losses too tight, that can create those cascading little waterfalls, whatever. You can see those pullbacks that way. But also just profit taking at resistance levels. It's just, most likely it's big players just being safe and taking profits at take profit levels, just like what I've been doing at these levels. Basically, it's not that I'm bearish, but I am willing to take profits at my profit levels. Yeah, everything looking quite good at this point. Even hype right now, for example, we are technically at resistance, right? The fact that we ended up losing this low. So even though we never broke the 115, how I had it pulled before, we did still technically set a lower low. So pulling a fib from here, I mean, we are technically at a resistance level right now. So yeah, it's a little risky to long right now. However, the trend is your friend until the end. But hype has a little bit of work to do, but it's right at all-time highs, right? This peak right here at $55.70. I mean, that is the all-time high. And we are basically trading there again. Basically every day for the last little while, we have seen hype setting new all-time highs. So even if it pulls back, I'm very interested in longing those pullbacks. Basically, as long as I have confluence with the MDX Trendmaster trending to the upside, if all of a sudden the buy and sell signals start trending to the downside, I'm going to have to pump the brakes a little bit and just wait for something new to form, basically. Anyways, my friends, like I said, I'm keeping this one a lot shorter. I have somewhere I got to be. But I think that's about all I wanted to go over today. So hopefully you guys did find this stream useful. If so, do me a favor, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss these live streams. As I mentioned, I will be switching over to a different YouTube channel. And like I said, that won't affect anybody signed up under me in BloFin. It won't affect my Telegram channel, nothing like that. That all stays the same. Just going to be streaming on a different channel name, basically. But for those of you who want access to my private Telegram channel, where I share some of my theories, some of my trade setup ideas, and just my overall thoughts on the market, do yourselves a favor, scan that QR code on the screen, get in there. Hope to see you in there. Other than that, thank you so much for being here with me once again, my friends. Love doing these live streams with you. Tomorrow I'll be elsewhere, will not be streaming. I'll likely be gone for a few days as well. I don't know if I'll get another stream on Friday or not. If not, might have to wait until Sunday or Monday. But that being said, my friends, those of you in the Telegram, I will be keeping you guys up to date with what I'm seeing in the markets. If anything hot pumps or just jumps out at me. And hope to see you in there. With that, my friends, stay safe. Have a fantastic rest of your evening. Peace out.